Metroid Samus Returns could not have come at a better time. Sure, it's been 7 years since the last main entry in the franchise, but it's been 13 years since the last 2D installment. Since we're seeing a resurgence in Metroid from Nintendo, it's only fitting that they named this game Samus Returns. Of course, the main reason they called it that is because it's a remake of 1991's Metroid 2 Return of Samus on the Game Boy. Nintendo invited me out to play the first hour of the game, and I walked away even more excited than I initially was, which is saying a lot because I'm an even bigger fan of Metroid than Zelda. Upon hitting start, we are greeted with a short prologue explaining the matters at hand and why Samus has been assigned to kill every single Metroid on the planet SR388. Sooner than later, she finally makes her way to the planet in an excellent intro sequence I've been waiting to see for 7 years. It's good to have you back, Samus. To come back playing as Samus in a brand new game from my favorite franchise of all time is an unreal feeling. Now, you're probably thinking, brand new? But isn't this just a remake of Metroid 2? Well, yeah, but compare this to this, it's no contest. Looks are one thing, and Samus Returns does boast 3D graphics on a 2D plane, but Yoshio Sakamoto and the team at Mercury Steam have worked to create something similar yet different from scratch, which is why the map is more complex than the original game. Not only that, but they added more tools in the game that weren't included in the original, like the grapple beam, which I didn't get to use in this build. I did get to use the spider ball though, and man, you just gotta climb everywhere with this thing, dude. Not to say they've completely scrapped elements from Metroid 2, the general plot remains the same, along with some music and areas which felt familiar to me from what little I played of Metroid 2. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not a huge fan of Metroid 2. It's a great game, no doubt, but it's unfortunately been held back thanks to its age, which only deems this remake all the more necessary. Even though I enjoy both 2D and 3D Metroid, I lean way more towards 3D, seeing as I was literally born the year 3D gaming took off. Thankfully, Metroid Samus Returns contains a lot of elements from 3D Metroid that I like, such as the 3D graphics that make for some interesting little cutscenes. However, these wouldn't be interesting without some atmospheric music created by Super Metroid composers Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano. These two are masters at creating some incredibly eerie tones, new and old, really adding to the feeling of isolation that a good Metroid game should evoke. If the rest of the game nails that feeling as well as this first hour, then we have a real hit on our hands come September. But I know you guys care about gameplay, and I can say that Mercury Steam is taking 2D Metroid and modernizing it for 2017. In all 2D Metroid games, Samus had to keep a distance between her and the enemies she was shooting, but you would think that a genetically enhanced bounty hunter would at least learn a few kicks and punches here and there. Now you can counter melee attacks by knocking enemies back with the Y button and shooting at them thanks to the automatic lock-on that occurs once you hit them. This move is technically optional, though you will have a very hard time trying to play through the game without it. Enemies are now faster and they will not hesitate to pounce on you the minute they look at you, so get to learning that melee counter, though it's pretty easy to learn anyway. The aiming has also been upgraded with the ability to hold the L button and rotate 360 degrees. The beam Samus uses to aim will glow red once the target is in range, which is very helpful if you need to reserve missile ammo. What's ultimately handy though are the map features, like there actually being a map this time. Since Metroid requires a lot of backtracking to find items, you can place markers on the map to remember where an energy pickup or missile expansion was that you couldn't get to before. Also, to assist backtracking are portals that the impatient can use, but if you're a Metroid traditionalist, you can still run through the entire map if your heart desires. A new addition to the Metroid franchise are these powers called Aeon abilities, which have their own power source that regenerates over time. The only one I was able to use in this demo was Scan Pulse, which revealed secrets within a certain range of the map. It may take the challenge out of some things, But again, it's optional. What isn't optional, however, are the killing of Metroids, 40 to be exact. You can take these advanced Metroids down simply by shooting them, or you can be a total badass and wait for that sucker to pounce, block them, and go hard on them, initiating some intense camera panning. Killing these Metroids will give you their DNA, which will unlock a new area to explore. This will make it easier to not get lost, which most people who played Metroid 2 did. Finally, I got to use the Metroid series amiibo to unlock some exclusive content. Two of them being the Samus and Zero Suit Samus from the Smash Bros. Series, and the other two being the new ones with Samus and the squishy Metroid. Now then, the new Samus amiibo unlocks a special reserve tank which will activate once you fall in battle, like a fairy in Zelda, and will unlock some exclusive art when you beat the game at least once. The Metroid amiibo will give the location of a nearby Metroid and will unlock the Fusion difficulty mode after the game's completion along with Samus's fusion suit. The Smash Bros. Samus amiibo will give you an extra missile tank and concept art, and the Zero Suit Samus amiibo will unlock an Aeon energy tank and some music tracks to listen to in the gallery. All I can say after playing this demo is that Metroid is in for a fantastic revival if this preview is as good as the rest of the game. Yoshio Sakamoto and Mercury Steam are aiming to make Metroid Samus Returns a game for fans new and old, implementing features longtime fans like me love along with new elements that will make first-timers enjoy it as well. Of course, we will have way more to discuss once we have our official review on Game vs. Game, where we won't just review the game by itself, but pit it up against Sakamoto's other great remake, Metroid Zero Mission. And if you still haven't gotten a 3DS somehow and are interested in this game, then consider waiting for the new 3DS XL Samus Edition, launching on September 15th, the same day as Samus Returns. It'll be available for $200 US, but it unfortunately will not come with the game. Either way guys, I am super excited for Samus to return next month, and we will have more to discuss on that episode of Game vs. Game. In the meantime, this has been the Commonwealth Realm, and we will see you guys and gals soon.